I absolutely love Mido wristwatches, and I think what they've been doing lately with some of their more vintage-inspired pieces is truly top-notch. Welcome back to the channel for Right Time Watches here in Denver, Colorado. The Mido watches that we're taking a look at today are really quite interesting. Not only are they attractive and vintage inspired, but they're one of the best value watches in the marketplace today. Before we dig into those details though, we'll invite you to subscribe to the channel so you catch all of our upcoming videos. This watch is 40.5 millimeters in diameter with a 47 millimeter lug-to-lug and 13.4 millimeters thick. It's powered by the Powermatic 80 automatic movement from ETA and Swatch Group. The official title of this watch is the Oceanstar Decompression WorldTimer. That name alone tells you that this watch has a lot going on. That's a really good thing in my opinion, as this beautiful vintage-inspired timepiece packs a lot of punch, especially when you consider the price point under $1,500 US. This is a duo of watches, each of them with a different colored dial, but both with similar functionality. These watches combine a decompression timer with a GMT function along with a WorldTimer. All of this in a beautiful 200-meter water-resistant package with a great vintage inspiration to its design. Each of these are beautifully colorful as well, and definitely will stand out on your wrist. On the left, we have a blue with a little bit more of a mild colorway, and on the right, the black strap with a beautiful orange and yellow gradient. They are both supplied on fantastic quality rubber Tropic straps, which I think are a perfect fit for this watch. The dials themselves are obviously the star of the show, as that's where a lot of the functionality comes from. There are markings everywhere, and if you're a serious diver, this will be extremely helpful. If you just want to keep track of the time, like most of us, this watch will do as well. I do have to admit that the addition of the GMT and the WorldTime function to this platform is a huge hit for me, especially keeping that price point where it is. Despite the fact that there's already so much here to love, I still think the best part of these wristwatches is the quality for the price. Mido cuts no corners in the production of their timepieces. The metal finishing is always superb, and these particular models have the most gorgeous, hugely domed sapphire crystals. I think it looks perfect with this high-polished, short lug-to-lug distanced case. This is a very wearable, very attractive timepiece. Because these watches do have that WorldTimer functionality, we replace that typical dive timing bezel with a bidirectional WorldTimer bezel. It's still very high quality and feels great. Speaking of quality, the screw-down crown is fantastic, and of course, when you open that up to the second position, you're able to set your time. When you open it up to the first position, you've got that Traveler GMT functionality. Much like other watches we see with this functionality, the way that you change the date is by using that Traveler GMT. As the hour hand passes that 24th hour, it does move that date wheel forward by 1 day. Another little touch that I really enjoy is here on the buckle hardware, we've got that old school Mido logo, which matches the vintage vibe of this watch. I mentioned the strap previously. It's extremely comfortable. It has that breathability on the back as you'd expect from a great rubber Tropic strap. Another great feature is that quick release on the strap spring bar there. You're able to swap the strap out, which will come in handy with this watch. I say that because each of these special edition watches come with a mesh style strap in addition to this beautiful Tropic, so you can wear it either way. The caseback is familiar for the Oceanstar lineup with that beautiful sea star engraving there in the center. Again, with that old school Mido logo there at the top, and underneath is that Powermatic 80 movement. The watch has decent lume, although it's not covered in it like you'd expect with some divers. You do have a lume pip on the bezel, and of course the hands and GMT are all visible. The wearability on these models is obviously another huge strength. These slimmer cases from some of the other Oceanstar lineup is fantastic. Here on my 8-inch wrist there is oodles of room on either end, so if you've got a smaller wrist, these watches are going to suit you well. For me, I still enjoy wearing it and I think it looks great. This is a perfect size for the masses. So whether you're more interested in this black strapped orange dial model or the blue strap with a bit more color, Either way, you're going to enjoy this particular timepiece. I highly recommend coming in and trying these on because for $1,300 US, I think these are an absolute steal. These watches are fun, they are attractive, they're very well made, especially for the money. And if you want to get something unique on your wrist, I highly recommend you take a closer look here. If you'd like to purchase one of these watches, please visit us online at righttime.com or give us a call. We're always happy to help. As always, thank you so much for stopping by, and we'll see you next time at Right Time.